The National Council of the New Patriotic Party will later today consider an appeal brought before it by suspended chairman Paul Afoko. Mr. Afoko was asked to step aside indefinitely by the party's National Executive Committee. Communications Director of the party, Nana Komia, tells Joy News Mr. Afoko will have a fair hearing at today's council meeting.
Steering committee's meeting, the General Secretary informed the meeting that he had received an appeal from Mr. Paul Afoko to the National Council of the party, petitioning against his indefinite suspension by the National Executive Committee. And in fact, he's entitled to do that. He can appeal to the National Council, which is a higher body than the National Executive Committee. And the General Secretary informed the meeting that he had received the appeal. So the National Council will be summoned Thursday for a meeting on the matter. The Constitution gives a 2-week window for the National Council to deal with such an appeal. So they don't have a lot of time. So they have to meet to decide on the procedure, because this is unprecedented, decide on the procedure that they will use to conduct the hearing on the appeal. So the meeting will come in on Thursday, and so that is confirmed.
And Mr. Paul Afoko himself will be summoned to this meeting. He's the one appealing. Would that be the process?
Well, if you are the complainant, you should be given a hearing. So I can presume that he would seek a hearing before the National Council. But all of that is a bit presumptuous now. When the National Council meets, the agenda will be to decide on the procedure. So issues about Mr. Afoko's appearance and all of that will be decided on.
Meanwhile, second vice chairman of the opposition NPP, may face possible sanctions following his comments he will not recognize Freddie Blay as the party's acting chairman, despite a NEC directive. In an interview with Joy News' Kwachia Frenioma, communications director of the NPP, Nana Komia, said Mr. Sammy Crabbe is setting himself up for disciplinary processes with his comments. He adds that the party will seriously consider sanctions once a formal petition is presented on the issue.
Well, I'm surprised by Mr. Sammy Crabbe's comments. If he says he would not recognize the decision of the National Executive Committee, he is showing gross disrespect to that body. And he is supposed to be, I think, third vice chairman or second vice chairman or so. And so for him, you may disagree. You may disagree. But once that is the decision, you have to follow that decision. If you have a disagreement, the party provides for party members to channel their disagreements and grievances. So I would have expected him, if he had any strong reservations about the decision of the NEC, to follow the laid-down procedures. Indeed, Afoko himself is following the laid-down procedures by bringing an appeal against the decision. So I'm surprised that Mr. Krab says he doesn't agree and he will not respect it. You may disagree, but you have to respect it. So those are unfortunate comments coming from the second vice chairman. And I understand he also said that he disagrees with suspension. I remember Mr. Krab used to be the Greater Accra regional chairman. Even in that relatively small position, he was able, under his administration, to suspend members of the party, including members of parliament. Including members of parliament, even from that small position as a relatively small position as Greater Accra regional chairman. He was able to superintend suspension of party members, including members of parliament. So it's strange that today Mr. Krab will be talking about not agreeing with suspension of party members by a much higher body like the National Executive Committee. If anybody brought a petition against him on those bases, I am sure it will be given serious consideration. He's setting himself up for disciplinary procedures. There's no doubt about that. Like I said, you may disagree, but you have to respect it. So if you say you don't respect it, and you are a second vice chairman, You know, when you yourself, when you were in a smaller position of regional chairman, you were able to suspend members of parliament. So it's a bit rich for him. But I agree, he's setting himself up for disciplinary procedures.
Well, some interesting comments there, but we can now speak to Mr. Sammy Crabbe, who joins us live now over the telephone with some thoughts on this particular issue. Mr. Crabbe, good morning and thank you very much for joining us on News Desk.
Good morning, boss. How are you?
I'm great. So, are you ready to face these sanctions your party's communications director speaks of?
Well, I never heard him, but you say so, and if indeed he said so, very sad indeed. This kind of veiled threat will never get me to keep quiet about an illegality that I believe is being perpetrated on this party, which is dangerous. And to get these parties to become demotivated, it can affect us, and so I will speak. But that veiled threat, that you're going to be suspended, that's the very thing I am talking against. That's the very thing that when people speak, there's a veiled threat. I don't fear if a properly constituted National Executive Committee should say something. I don't have a problem. If a properly constituted National Council should say something, it's law. But I'm not going to accept when process was not followed. And then the thing comes out and they say from the national, I don't know. Me, I ask for National Executive Committee. The Constitution has defined what makes the National Executive Committee. You can't go out there giving excuses that it concerns the person. Because we've had an incident like this in the party before when the former chairman, Mr. Haruna Esiku, was accused of certain things. I was a regional chairman at the time, so I'm not just reporting something I heard. I was in that room. He convened that meeting himself. He stated the agenda. He recused himself, and he asked Mr. Stephen Tim to sit in. Mr. Stephen Tim was then the first national vice chairman. I was in that room. He recused himself, and process was followed. Did you hear anybody come out to argue? People really wanted things done against it, but process was allowed to follow. I am speaking about due process that must be followed. My fear is if it is not followed, and we ingrain such things in the mentality of almost half of Ghana. If somebody should even do a coup d'etat, you have somebody coming on to argue efficacious, like a lawyer was arguing this morning, as long as the thing remains for a while, even if it's a revolution or is a coup d'etat, as long as it remains. So they ask us to shut up. The veiled threat that you be suspended, then you shut up. And after a while, they come back and say, but nobody said anything about it. Everybody was going along with it. And so it is a party, so it's efficacious. So the next time the constituency to be efficacious. You have people there also coming up with all kinds of things. They allow that to remain for a while, and then they say it's efficacious. Then the polling station, we have an election to run less than 18 months against a very formidable opponent. We don't need this.
So, is it a case that you believe or suspect that certain people are just being forced to shut up in the party?
Master, you know, the faces and the voices I hear right now, the same voice I heard for Afoko and Krab in Japan's election. The same people, the same setup.
You speak of the pro Akufo-Addo people.
I mean, I am saying the same voices, the same setup. It doesn't change. And we put the thing to vote, and the people selected the two gentlemen. After that, they said that they have to go for 40, they want to get rid of the people. Illegal impeachment. They got regional chairman to stop plenty. They didn't get anywhere. That one too, they made a lot of noise as if it was the law. When it was pointed out to them, then they withdrew. And then they said they were going for signature. When they went to ask the party, and I mean the party, when they went there, they couldn't get a 40% signature to vary the authority of the national chairman and the general secretary. So then they moved on and then found some notmen. Because the man is a notman, when they bring a notman, and then people will not say that we are an account party, we are doing this. So I think the veiled threat to suspend means that unfortunately the communication director is saying he expects that what they're going to do, they're going to look for two Ghana people. Because I'm a Ghana, born in Choco, Malaysian, they look for Ghana people to go out there. And then the Ghana people will go and make a complaint against him. And then they will say, oh, it's not tribalism. All these kind of things. You think my family people sitting down in Choco are sitting in Malaysian and those people all around there. People that I feed, people that I lead, and those things, they're going to sit down and then look at it that way. They should stop the child game. Look, this is a very serious matter. And we need to stand up, and deal with it. Not allow, it's not about popularity, it's vanity. my conscience says it is not right, and I must speak against it. I must speak without fear or anybody trying to threaten a suspension in any case. He is an appointed officer. If he did indeed, he said that is unfortunate indeed.
Well, he says the possibility once anyone brings up a petition that they believe that the comments you make are not in the best interest of the party, so he should be suspended. Well, they are seriously going to consider that.
Oh, well, a possibility, Master. You see, we all in this, we've been in this. I didn't just follow the track. I didn't just follow the track. I've been in this game, and I've handled positions back and forth and that kind of thing. He is trying to communicate to me that, look, if you don't say that, there's a possibility that we'll get some two guns to come and file something there and try and use the efficacious, whatever it is that has been done to get rid of you. This efficacious revolution, cool mentality and argument that the lawyers are making out there, it's a very dangerous thing. And, I just laugh. The parliamentary candidates are also elected officers. They are sitting there, and everybody says, I'm afraid that when I speak, they will come at me. I can tell you in this party, in Ashaiman, in the year 2000, the person who was filed by this party was not the person who won the election. So you sit there, you think by keeping quiet, that is going to protect you. When the efficacious revolution, and then cool thing is firmly established, they will use that to come after you.
So is it a case that as things stand now in the party, people are scared to speak?
Yes, they're cowing people. And so threats. You see the Odododio chairman, he spoke his mind. And then they send people sent people after him, and then they were chasing him, trying to stab him on motorcycles. The police had to come in and rescue him. That's what they're doing. And I'm saying it's wrong. This is Dankwa, this is Dombo, this is Buzia. There has to be space created for each and every one of us. It is very important that we assure minority of Ghanaians, be they religious minorities, tribal minorities, that when we come, we will not say because we think we have the numbers, we are going to undermine the Constitution and say that since people don't talk about this, it's efficacious, that we don't protect their rights. This is about 50% of Ghana. It is a dangerous thing. If you let it stand, somebody overthrows John Mahama one day, and then these 50% whose conscience or minds have been ingrained with the fact that an efficacious revolutionary coup over a period of time is okay, we then go out there and slowly, they will say it's okay because it's efficacious.
Mr. Crabbe, let me ask, as things stand now, for most of the decisions taken by the National Executive Committee, the decisions you say are illegal or unconstitutional, they seem to be backed by your flag bearer. So one is at a loss as to why all this internal...
Well, I don't want to even bring the flag bearer. It has nothing to do with the flag bearer.
But he has endorsed the NEC decision and has called on the party faithful to support...
You can ask him why he said what he said. I'm talking about...
Why do you think he said what he said?
But that one is him. He has said something. If you want to know what he feels, and you can always ask me. I am saying somewhat Kenneth Adolphus Bernard Krab. I am saying that I see something that is very dangerous. Let me tell you something. Competition, it breeds quality. That's what it does. And if we don't protect people who assume office, that's why there is this security of tenure for certain people so they can express their mind. If we don't protect people, allow them to speak their minds and be innovative and creative, this party is going to die. That is the only thing that is going to push this party into the future. And now, if I go speak there and anybody take it, you go a body in Tamale election, and the body says if you want to vary my authority in any manner or form, come back to me, and you don't go. And then some bunch of people will come, the people from my tribe, and then they go and make this, and then they'll tell everybody that it's efficacious, they should accept. Then I will speak my mind. And if I cease to speak my mind, I will cease to contribute very innovative things to this party because I'm afraid. And I may not even stand for an election anymore. And people of my life, brave people who want that kind of space will also not come. And what then happens is those people who just want to take the thing and put it on their chest like badges are the ones who come and occupy a position. This is dangerous. It is very dangerous. When I speak, I know exactly what I'm talking about.
I see.
When you have this efficacious argument on polling station constituencies, you have Joy FM, you're a very expensive station. So every minute of your airtime is money. So can you imagine if you calculate all this? These resources now I'm using, instead of using this to let people understand Muhammad, instead of focusing on him, they are getting all of us to focus our resources on our own. And then other people who can even go and express themselves in very creative ways to win the election for us are also being cowed not to speak. and shut up, and then veiled threat of suspension. Hey, they bond me for choco.
So you're not going to go down without a fight, essentially?
Master, I was elected by a certain body. I raised my hand to the square, and I swore to protect the constitution of the new patriotic party. And I am seeing an infraction. And I am saying that a cabinet meeting is not a cabinet meeting. You don't call it a cabinet meeting when all cabinet members have assembled. It becomes a cabinet meeting when the president who has the authority to convene it. So if somebody else goes to convene it and you have all cabinet members there, it doesn't mean that that is a cabinet meeting, unless and until the president does. Period. The other thing I'm saying here is that this neck, so-called neck, that is said has said, never in my view was neck. I will always respect them, and I'll always respect the decisions coming out of National Council. But unfortunately, what was convened was not neck. So I am not respecting it. I'm not respecting anything that is convened without due process. I will not respect it. I swore not to respect anybody who comes in and takes my constitution and then varies it in such a manner that minorities, majorities, and everybody feels unsafe. No. This is not Iran, where you get elected and you have another supreme unelected body sitting somewhere, and holding the sword of democracy around the neck. This is not Iran. This is Dombo's new patriotic party. This is Buzia's new patriotic party. This is J.D. Danko's new patriotic party.
Sammy Crabbe, finally, before we go, and now there's a National Council meeting today. Are you likely to show up at all?
If it is properly convened by the person I believe is the chairman of the party, Mr. Afoko, I shall attend. If somebody calls you, then it's a group of friends who want to call themselves and sit somewhere and make certain deliberations. So that is what I'm saying. But I am saying that I shall go to any meeting which is convened properly. But if it is not convened properly, no, I shall not go.
So this council meeting is to, among other things, discuss on the appeal by embattled chairman Paul Afoko. So you are saying he's not obviously going to convene this meeting. It's going to be the first vice chairman who is acting as the chairman. So you are not going to show up?
No. This is the first vice chairman is convening as acting chairman. There is nothing like that in our constitution. Acting chairman is coined. An acting chairman. I shall not go to that meeting. Now, two, Paul Afoko did not appeal against suspension. No. He appealed against an illegality that even the neck he doesn't recognize. That's another propaganda they are shooting up. Read the content very well. He appealed against an illegality. This is an illegality. It's a cool mentality that is developing and creeping. And then they are arguing efficacious and big buffalo. It has nothing to do with that. I am afraid that efficaciousness, or whatever it is, if it goes through the constituency, to the polling station, to everywhere, is going to kill my beloved party. And I have a responsibility to speak against it. Because they're trying to, you threaten me, somebody you threaten, the person will keep at me. When you threaten me, then I do it more. If they wanted me to keep at it, they should not have even started the threat at all. Because you can't.
Right. Sammy Crabbe, many thanks for your time on News Desk this morning. And Sammy Crabbe is the second vice chairman of the opposition NPP. Seems to be that a lot more turmoil in that particular party. The government in waiting, many say. But we're taking a break here on News Desk. We'll be back with some more. Don't go away.